If the thing you practicing called spirituality has no room for darkness, then you're practicing another form of escapism. I think the goal of one's incarnation into the human form or flesh is not to engage with life as a means of avoiding the ills of the human experience by trying to get out or fleeing the body, but to actually embody the human condition through presence, discernment, and vigilance, so that one can maintain unobstructed clarity, which is free of avoidance and interference, where instructions are abundantly clear from the Almighty. And I've noticed these forms of escapism in two highly colonized spaces, both the psychedelic community and different occult sects, and hopefully sex comes off right because I'm country. But in both of these spaces, people become hypnotized and obsessed by practices of transcendence, which they then use as a scapegoat to bypass the shadow and develop the illusion that liberation can only be achieved through disassociation, delusion, the dropping of the body, or through worlds where one drowns in light to the point where the shadow can no longer persist, which is insane to me, but it happens. And many of these spaces are populated by high achieving individuals who, for one, can afford the experience, and two, have learned or are learning that financial wealth does not buy health, it doesn't buy happiness, and it doesn't buy peace at all. It only makes suffering more tolerable. And when material success fails to deliver the desire that one subconsciously or consciously seeks, that same drive to achieve migrates itself into spirituality, where higher states of consciousness and more light are sought. And this dynamic is pretty evident and prominent in our culture of toxic positivity, where love and light seems to be the only currencies of engagement that people have the capacity to hold space for due to their lack of integration with the shadow. And what is deemed as enlightenment does not derive from a space where light is ultimately king, but from a space where darkness is acknowledged, awakened, and made conscious, and then becomes a jewel that gives the light its luminosity. And liberation is, to me at least, is not just another achievement. It is the collapse of the one who is trying to escape. And some forms of wisdom require us to enter uncharted territories of the psyche. And these regions are places where many of us are unwilling to explore, places where reason fails, where uncertainty dissolves, and where consciousness, that the conscious mind is humbled and reminded, right? And while this may sound like a devaluation of money, it is not. Obviously, money is an essential component of the society and world that we live in and inhabit. But whether we want to admit it or not, it cannot acquire us the very things that truly will lighten the load of the soul. And I think that we have many living and dead examples of that.